Want to be Ryan the Great, and today we are previewing the Eagles versus Lions Week 1 match. I want to be Ryan the Great, and today we are talking about the Eagles' win over the Houston Texans list. I want to be Ryan the Great, and today we're talking about the Eagles, man. Their first loss of the year. And the streak ends at 8 in a row. What are you going to do? It is what it is.
Try this one. All right, we got an Eagles fan now. Got an Eagles fan. Let's try this one. They got one person watching. It's me. Rossi Raid, sending love. He keeps looking at the chat, so perhaps he will see this immediately. Let's see. Let's see. He's looking. Oh, he's looking. He's looking. Eyes are getting wider. Seth Latour, Grossi Nation, let's raid. Whoa. This person's name is Ryan the Great.
Whoa.
Hmm.
Oh my God. Grossi Raid.
Grossi Raid. Oh, another correct pronunciation.
Whoa.
Went from 1 to 238. Let's go. Let's go.
Really? Oh my God.
Let's go.
That's. Oh my God.
I got-
appreciate it.
There we go. He appreciates it.
Oh my God, we get 100.
Oh, buddy, you got 200. You got 250.
200 subscribers.
Oh, I got 100 subscribers. Let's go.
Oh my God, we hit it.
Let's go. Let's
Oh
go.
my God, wow.
I love it. I love it.
Wow. Always talk about the quarterback first, but this week we're talking about a different quarterback. We're talking about Gardner Minshew mania, baby. Minshew magic. Hopefully he makes some magic today. So he might just take a traditional backup role. It might be. Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are talking about the Eagles' loss to the New Orleans. Locked at the number 1 seed, but only scoring 22 points and giving up 16 to the Giants' second and third team is not really a good look. If we play like this against the 49ers, they're going to get absolutely torched. So it is what it is. Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are reacting to the Eagles win over the New York Giants. Baby, the Eagles got it done 31-7. I was so close to the final score prediction being right. Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are reacting to the Eagles versus 49ers. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. I am so thankful. I hope you guys enjoyed that little montage of what we have had through the season. It has been a roller coaster of a season. This season has been the reason I have 226 subscribers at the current moment. But won't it be Ryan the Great? And today, this is the last video of the season before the Eagles play the Super Bowl. This is going to be one of the biggest videos of my life, and tonight is going to be one of the biggest streams of my life. I am going live for the Super Bowl. I can 100% confirm 6:30 Eastern Time, Ryan the Great is commentating Super Bowl. This is crazy. Eagles, Chiefs. We're going to be talking about it right now, guys. But before we get right into it, make sure you subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Ryan the Great vlogs. Go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. And make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the video. So we always start off with the Eagles, and we always start off with our franchise quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Actually, speaking of that, you guys like my It's a Philly thing shirt? I just got it yesterday. I'm gonna wear like I don't know what jersey I'm gonna wear for the Super Bowl. Probably Smitty. We'll see. But Jalen Hurts, the biggest game of his life so far. I really don't want to see that many passes down the field. 15 yards down the field. The Eagles have been terrible. I think they're like 4 for 12 in the playoffs. 15 plus yards down the field passes. I really don't like that. Chiefs have played really well against passes going down the field. Just look at the Bengals game. They did a great job against it. Except for a few occasions, but it is what it is. So accurate short passes, that's what I'd like to see. The Chiefs, their secondary is not the greatest secondary in the world. But I think we could expose them in the short game. But something the Chiefs haven't played well is the quarterback run. So RPO could be a nice option. The Chiefs are giving up 4.7 yards per carry versus the RPO. I think that would be a good thing to utilize in this game. Next, talk about the running attack. Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, the three-headed monster. They have been showing out throughout the playoffs, especially Kenneth Gainwell. But Boston Scott, he scored in the last 3 games. Miles Sanders, 2 touchdowns last week. And Kenneth Gainwell, he is leading the Eagles in rushing yards throughout the playoffs, something you really, wouldn't expect to see, but you do love to see. I do think this is the week more than ever to run through Dickerson, because I'm not really going to run in. I really don't want to run into Chris Jones, because I do believe he will try to expose Isaac Sayamala, but we will have to see there. If not, then we might have to adjust, run the other way, and try and run through Sayamala. Johnson's a great run blocker. I don't know. Maybe have Dickerson swing around. I really don't know. They got to figure this out, though. But the Chiefs' run defense is pretty great. They gave up a combined 41 yards to Mixon and Pirine. They did give up over 4 yards to carry, but only giving up 41 yards to a good dual-threat running attack is, something to look out for. The receivers, A.J. Brown. I expect McDuffie to be on him. Maybe Watson. I'm not too sure. We'll just say McDuffie for now. He did give up 77 yards last week and a rating of 107.4 against the Bengals. So, actually not last week, 2 weeks ago. Like Brown's always been doing. Slants, curls, out routes, nothing too crazy. Maybe a few plays down the field. I really don't want to see too much of it, but if you think we can expose it, go right ahead. Devontae Smith. Watson will most likely be on him. He also gave up 77 yards 2 weeks ago and a rate of 104.7, and he gave up a touchdown. Every time he faced Jamar Chase, he got absolutely cooked. Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase have similar route running styles, so I expect big things from Smith tonight. Quez Watkins. It's either help or get the hell off the field, and let's put Zach Pascal in. Or go to this man, Dallas Goedert. The Chiefs' defense has not played tight ends well all season, but in the last 2 games, they have played them pretty well. I'm not sure if that's the fact that the Chiefs aren't facing tight ends on the level of Dallas Goedert, or if they just really are, have taken a boost in defending tight ends. I don't really know. But Goddard, I think he could be an X factor tonight, because they're going to be so focused, and everybody's so focused on Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. But he could be an X factor. We haven't seen him that much in these last 2 games, so it could be interesting to see. Corner routes, curls, help us get the yards on first down. That's something the Eagles, I think, are going to really need, actually. Yards on first down, because, the Chiefs, they are, I think they're one of the best third down defending teams in the NFL. Unless I'm thinking about they're really good at getting first downs on offense. I don't really know, but they're good. They are very good when you show weaknesses. That's all I got to say there. I'm not sure about the offensive line in this game. You guys know I think the Eagles' offensive line is the best in the NFL. Sayamala, he's got the biggest task tonight. I do believe he will be going up against Chris Jones. I'm not sure if Kelsey is going to be able to help him, or if Kelsey's going to have to defend somebody one-on-one. I'm not so sure. But he's got a big task tonight. Dickerson, I think he should be okay, but he is coming off an elbow injury, so I don't really know there. Lane Johnson, first-team All-Pro. I expect him to be absolutely okay. But I'm tired of the Jordan Mailata hate. They're saying he's the weakest link. My ass. You know what I mean? My ass that Jordan Mailata is the weakest link on the Eagles' offensive line. He's given up, 6 to 9 sacks this year? That's not that bad. It's not 0. It's not the greatest. But come on now, he's not a weak link. The Eagles don't have a weak link on the offensive line. He will show everybody tonight. I guarantee you guys that. Maybe not guarantee, but you know what I mean. Next, we move on to the defense. So there's two things I'm concerned about on defense. The running backs in general, them running the ball and receiving the ball, and Travis Kelce. But we'll get into Travis Kelce a little bit later. First thing, the Eagles have not played running backs well at all this season. They don't play dual running backs that well, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back. So I just want to point that out. The Eagles are giving up 4.4 yards per carry. We know that. And before the 49ers offense was so predictable and they were running the ball the whole time, they couldn't stop CMC worth anything. And the Eagles don't play receiving running backs well either. Pacheco and Mahomes, they run a lot of screens. McKinnon as well. Mahomes loves to go to McKinnon on short routes. And the Eagles are 19th in yards per attempt with receiving running backs, so they got to figure that out quickly. The pass rush, I do think will have a good day. Last week, the Bengals dropped Mahomes 3 times, and the Eagles' pass rush is a lot better than the Bengals. I think Hassan Reddick will have a great week or a great game. He'll face off against Andrew Wiley. He is the definite weak point of a pretty good Kansas City offensive line. And when Reddick does see a weak point, he attacks. Just ask the 49ers. I would like switches between Graham and Josh Sweat, both over 10 sacks this year. I just want to point that out. I don't know how Brandon Graham didn't get comeback player of the year. It's not, or at least in contention. Not being biased, just pointing that out. Orlando Brown, he is one of the best left tackles in the NFL, and I do think switching up Graham and Sweat, both do have different styles of pass rush. Sweat's more of a speed rusher. He can use his power. Graham, he does like to cut into the inside, also uses power as well. Two different styles I think could get Brown tired. I don't know about Hargrave. He is going against Joe Thuney, so I'm not so sure how that's going to materialize. Cox, I'm not sure if he's going to have the greatest game in the world. He might have to be more focused on the run. But if you want to switch him out with Sue on passing plays, I'm not that mad about that because Sue also is our run stopper and can have him in just in case Kansas City runs a play action or if they actually do run. But Sue, he did have a pretty good game in the pass rush last week, 2 weeks ago against the 49ers. So I wouldn't be complaining if Sue was in there for some passing plays. The linebackers. They need to protect, the running backs receiving. I've already pointed that out. They did a good job of that. They did a good job of that last week, stopping CMC receiving. In the second half they did it, but once again the 49ers offense was so predictable. So I'm not so sure if you really want to take last week's defense into this, because it was just so predictable. Okay, moving on. I really don't want them on Kelce. They do have to protect the middle of the field. If they do stay in a zone, Kelce will most likely run into them, which would, force them to guard Kelce. I really don't want that. I prefer man-to-man on Kelce. But defending him, just one person defending him, I really don't want that for the whole game. But we'll talk about that in a minute. The secondary, I do think will be pretty good. Everyone on Kansas City's receiving core is beat up. I do think that we should watch out for MVS. Will be something to look out for. He's the only one that's not hurt. Juju, McCole Hardman's also not playing today. Kadarius Toney, they are all hurt. While everybody except for Hardman is back, they're not 100%. But MVS did have a 100-yard game and a touchdown last week versus the Bengals. I'm not too concerned once again about the receivers, but I am concerned about Travis Kelce. I do get the Eagles are holding tight ends to the 5th lowest rate in the NFL, but this is not a tight end. This is a god tight end right here. I do think it's got to be Gardner Johnson and Maddox. They obviously play in the slot. They switch between safety. But I do think both are capable of defending the safety spot no matter who is on Kelce. But definitely switch them. As I said earlier, I don't want one person on Travis Kelce for the whole game. It's just not going to work. I would want to have Gardner Johnson on Kelce a little bit more. I do think he is better in pass coverage. I think I like Maddox better in zone. But Gardner Johnson does have some interceptions off zone, but we'll have to see how it works out. The bottom line, on offense, short passes, and on defense, stop the running backs, and Gardner Johnson and Maddox on Kelce. That's all I got for the bottom line. The Chiefs, it's either Mahomes has got to move out of the pocket or he's got to have faith in the offensive line will be able to protect him because of that high ankle sprain. He said he's probably not going to be able to run much, especially in this desert. where it's really, really hot. So we'll have to see there. Any option that I just pointed out might fail. But he's got to be able to get the ball off quick because of this Eagles pass rush. Kelce, it's really only Kelce because everybody's beaten down like a boxer after facing Mike Tyson. The running backs are especially an X factor. The receiving part, once again, Edwards-Hilaire's back, so the dual threat is available. Pacheco, whenever he gets the ball, you got to put on the Jets, my brother, because the Eagles were not able to catch CMC last week. And if I'm not mistaken, Pacheco looks just a little bit faster than CMC. So if he puts on the Jets, there's no chance that the Eagles will be able to catch him. Once again, it's only got to be Kelce on the receiving core because everybody's just beat up. Slant routes, something that safeties aren't, used to covering. Safeties are more used to covering go routes and post and, fades or whatever. The, slant routes, out routes, curls, something that safeties are not used to facing. That's what I think Travis Kelce should run. The defense, they got to put pressure on Hurts. And it's not just going to be Chris Jones, in my opinion. They got some dogs on the defensive end side. So I definitely think that they could put some pressure on Hurts throughout the end because Hurts, running up the middle, he is pretty good. But if you force him into Chris Jones, Hurts is not really going to go too many places. So if you can force him through the middle, that would be good that would be a win in my book for the defensive ends. And the secondary, I would honestly just drop back. The Eagles will probably go deep for whatever weird reason, even though they shouldn't. So if I drop back, try and get some picks, deflections, whatever you got to do. The bottom line, Kelce and only Kelce on offense and, obviously some of the run game. And pressure Jalen Hurts on defense, force him into bad decisions. But the final score prediction. I have Kansas City 17, the Eagles 30. I believe the Eagles will win the Super Bowl. I believe that all the doubters will be silenced. I believe that Jalen Hurts, the man who has been doubted his whole life, will beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I believe that after 5 years of suffering and not going back to the Super Bowl, that they will win it this time. I believe that this receiving core will dominate tonight. I believe that Hassan Reddick will be one of the greatest Super Bowl performances on the defensive side. I believe in this team. 6:30 Eastern time tonight. Ryan the Great is streaming this game. You guys do not want to miss it. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Liam the Great Vlogs. I appreciate every single one of you that have been along for this journey from this season, from week 1, from September, all the way to this moment right now. We have done it together, and we are going to end it together. Go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. Pull up to the stream. You don't want to miss it. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.